Welcome back to NewsWire here on SportsGrid. Great to catch up with former NFL and college quarterback Ryan Leaf, also a great proponent for mental health awareness, does a great job on SiriusXM radio as well. He joins us now to go over what happened in the Super Bowl last night. Certainly eventful game, and to break it all down, we bring in Ryan. Ryan, great to catch up with you here for the first time here on SportsGrid. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, you bet. Sorry we couldn't get together in San Francisco last week, but this works out great.
Yeah, it does. All right. So, look, you could certainly relate to this story here. You have a quarterback in the National Football League that's drafted high and gets a second chance, gets a third chance, gets a fourth chance. And man, whatever chances he got, he made the most of them. Sam Darnold goes from what could have been a busted NFL career, number 3 overall pick with the New York Jets. Certainly didn't work out there, goes to the Panthers and signed by the 49ers. And I feel like, I don't know, Ryan, do you feel like that was really the key when he went to San Francisco? Something sort of clicked. The Vikings really, I thought that he would do a fantastic job and stay with them. That didn't happen. He goes to Seattle. He wins a Super Bowl. This is a story well-traveled at quarterback.
No, it's incredible. It's an incredible story. To your point, like I know it, I can relate to having that anchor, that can weigh you down as being a draft bust or have a high expectations and not meet them. I think it speaks to his mental toughness, incredible fortitude to get through that process. And then even to get to that place where you go and win 14 games a year ago and a team still says, nope, not good enough. Well, Seattle thought he was good enough. Seattle brought him in, supported him, brought in Clint Kubiak, who that's where he made that introduction in San Francisco with Clint. Clint thought he was more than capable of getting it done. And clearly, as you've seen throughout the entire year, he had an incredible playoffs. And he is a quarterback from that draft class. If you would have said that it wasn't going to be Josh Allen, it wasn't going to be Lamar Jackson, both MVPs, but Sam Darnold, who had hoisted the Lombardi as a starting quarterback first, I would say you were crazy. But there you are. What a great job on his part to continue to work, make it a day-to-day thing. Really, I'm really, really proud of him and excited to see his future.
I don't know if you would be guessing, Ryan, but I guess I would ask you that, is the journey the explanation for this result here, is going through that journey? Because it really wasn't until he got to Minnesota that I think that he'd even be considered as a possibility to be a high-end starting quarterback in the league. I just discussed the fact that, Carolina didn't think so also. The 49ers, obviously they had Brock Purdy there, but again, they could have taken a bigger chance on him if they wanted to. He had a higher pedigree coming out of college than obviously Brock Purdy did. So
everybody
would we be
did,
guessing, or do you think
Brock
something
Purdy.
that clicked? That's true too.
Everybody did. Brock Purdy was picked last in the draft. So in terms of pedigree, it's not about that. It's about what you do with it. I thought that Carolina was a sinking ship. They traded away Christian McCaffrey. It was an interim head coach. I saw some real upside from his play there in Carolina. I did when he got the opportunity. So I don't know. It's a matter of time is the way you want to think it, but the NFL doesn't necessarily give you that much time. The fact that this is the first quarterback to ever win a championship, having played on 5 different teams that speaks to that. So I think that anytime that you go through adversity and it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Some have to do it later in life, and some are able to do it while they're still in their prime. One of the best things that I think that Sam Darnold did, and I talked to Jordan Palmer usually every offseason, just kind of hear what quarterbacks are coming back to the lab, coming back to do work on the fundamentals and the technique every year. Every single year it was Sam Darnold, regardless of situation. You know who that sounds like? That sounds like Tom Brady. Tom Brady, no matter what, whether he won the Super Bowl or not, was back in the lab every year trying to figure out what can make him a little bit better. And this is just about day-to-day work, coming to work, putting it in. Sam Darnold's the epitome of that. He also is part of the ultimate team game. That was a performance last night by the entirety of the Seattle Seahawks that complimented Sam Darnold. He just gets all the credit because he's the quarterback, as does the coach. But that defense, that running game, that was the difference maker. The kicking game, those were the difference makers in this game.
Let's go over to the Patriots, Ryan, for a minute here. And, certainly growing up and covering football here in South Florida, Ryan, where I live, I just remember for many years covering the Dolphins and hearing Dan Marino tell the story of going to the Super Bowl and losing and thinking, all right, well, I'll be back to a million of these. And I wonder if Drake May feels the same way. I mean, he's a high level quarterback right now in the National Football League. He just had a bad day. It happens, but none of this stuff is guaranteed, Ryan. And I wonder here with the game that he had, and that, those stats don't really tell the story. Obviously, that he did not have a good game. A lot of those were padded stats in the second half. What are your thoughts on New England? Is this a team that can just jump right back in next season and build on what they had, or do you think they were a little fortunate this year?
Well, I mean, the record was fortunate, don't get me wrong, but they played incredibly well. They added 30 first-year players and got to the Super Bowl. Their quarterback was pretty much one vote away from being the MVP of the league. So, yeah, I do believe they can get back to that place. But I also believe that with Cincinnati, after Joe Burrow's second year. You just never know. You have to have a lot of things come together, So when that moment happens, you want to make the most of it, and they just couldn't. They didn't. They were overwhelmed. They were suffocated by Seattle's defense. And I just think Drake, for whatever reason, was tentative. And it looked like he had a string on the ball. In that, I mean, he was really trying to guide it around. I don't know how much of the injury played an effect on it. They gave him a pain-killing injection before the game, but he was dealing with that the entirety of the week. I don't think Mike Vrabel sends him out there if he thinks he's going to be a liability to the team. They were just outplayed by a better team. The best team was the Seattle Seahawks. They were playing incredibly well going in to the playoffs. They continued that run. They ran the ball well. They played incredible defense. They had the recipe for being a Super Bowl champion, and that's the reasons they are.
Ryan, awesome stuff as always. Congratulations on your second career doing media and everything else that you are certainly doing in terms of coverage and mental health awareness. Really, really awesome to see all of it. And thanks for giving us a few minutes here on the show to go over last night's game. Really appreciate it.
You bet. Anytime, guys. Thanks very much.